Welcome to Channeling Jesus 28-day consciousness shift. There's a lot of energy in the air today. There's a lot of shifts that's happening. Gaia is very active, moving energy. And there is a lot of wind, there's a lot of thoughts. So wind will move energies of thoughts around. So it's a very good day to, I don't know if it's windy where you are, but we take this opportunity to say that this is a very good day to let go of thought forms that do not serve you, distorted viewpoints. You can just let them go. You can hand them over to the Holy Spirit that knows what to do with them and that energy and transmute it. Sometimes that you will experience that has instantaneous results. Sometimes there's more comprehension that's needed for things to move. But we need your awareness and your focus and your permission in order to assist you. Energetically, because we can assist with energies. Whatever is perceived as a limitation, it's always an energy. The erroneous thought has some correlation in the body somehow. So when you change your thoughts, there is a correlation. So, for example, we have, if you have a knee problem, which this being has had in his life. Actually, he's going to tell this story. Okay, I'm going to tell the story. So, I used to have this massive problem with my knee. And it wasn't so clear. Like it was as if it was a little unstable. It was as if it was this energy ball or energy, like that's how I perceive it, that sometimes interferes or would interfere with my natural, if I would go on an angle or something. And I'm absolutely sure that you can go into the logical mind and go all, but that's not where we're going. That is not the main purpose, because these things that gets put in the body, they are a direct mirror to what you have on your consciousness. So the body will mirror what your consciousness is. That's why your body is such a good friend. Because it will just, whatever you have up in your mind and what perceptions you have, that will get mirrored in the body. So that could be, oh, you have problem with your left knee. So what I did was that I had this energy forgiveness with an ex in a meditation, where I felt her side and she could feel my side, and there was this energetic exchange and just, okay, it was peace. And just after that, this took about a week, but I instantaneously started feeling, and my whole left side started adjusting. And I didn't know that was related at the time. Or did I? I think maybe I did. Maybe I did. But then it took a week. So everything started just adjusting and just feeling energy move and things like that. Took a week, and then my knee was completely fine. just from this perception change. So this makes perfect sense for this body. And so this is how the above three centers, the crown, third eye, throat, what you receive and what you contemplate and how you are expressing in the world, in conjunction with the root, second, and solar plexus, how you actually move in the world as well, in the physical. This is how you bring in the information, and this is how you bring in your physical apparatus. And so there will be a mirrored effect. And that can go all the way out to illnesses. Sometimes it's just like a little energy thing that hasn't materialized yet. Depending on how sensitive you are, you can catch these things much, much sooner. And that is what intuition will do. It will help you to see these things clearly. And it will help you to move these things. Because they are not... They are telling you, they are pointers. So use your body as pointers to figure out what actually erroneous ways of seeing can I have here. That's a really good study. If you're a little bit unfamiliar with all this spiritual stuff still, you can use the body and the environment as a good gauge of what you're dealing with. The body, there is a lookup tool that you can go, which is called holisticbody.co, and then you can type in any kind of place on your body, and then you can find out the meaning and what that has to do with metaphysically, which gives you a pointer to what this can be in your life, right? So this is a wonderful way to know about this correlation with the body and start to see, what am I thinking, saying, contemplating, views that can have an effect on what's going on here. So that is a really good tool at your disposal. The same thing is that things that are on the outside, that can also be communication. So this is all Gaia. Body, it's all Gaia. It's Gaia's way of telling you how well are you getting through your soul into the... How well have you landed as who you are into this experience? That's really what this is. This whole game is built to support this. Because you're meant to live in the experience. Hang on a second. Similar way that for the outside world, we have something called holisticmeaning.co. Very similar, but it has everything to do with the outside. And that can be signs from Gaia that can come and give you synchronicities and signs like that. If you see a particular bug or you have a particular growth of weeds in your garden, all that tells you something. Like Gaia will provide whatever you need in close vicinity of where you live, for example. That's one way that she will gift you, because that is what your energy does. She is harmonizing everything, like she gives everything that you need. The system is much more sophisticated than what many people know about. And so these are ways that you can start to get familiarized with what things mean, especially when you see something repeated. Then it's a really good idea to look that up and see, okay, what is this? Is there a sign? Like, this is what you would say, like, is there a sign? Yeah, look it up. You know? So that's how this mirror system works. So when we change our consciousness, I hope you see how important this is. When we change our consciousness to the truth, when we do that, our life changes. Things in our body changes. We miraculously heal because we have corrected the energy. Sometimes it's things that we need to feel, right? It's not always just a perception change. And sometimes it's just the body. We just need to feel through things properly. That is part of the landing, to feel through everything that the body has been experiencing. So the body is very loving too. It waits for you. If you didn't get the memo, the email, the notification from your body the first time, it goes, okay, I need to store it here then, so that he can figure it out when he gets a chance, you know? It's such a loving system, if you think about it. But of course, you have to have the right frame of mind to be able to see that, right? And I hope this provides this for you. Because once you start to get some of these main things, this is a new way of being. It's a new way of seeing things and seeing how energy moves, and actually make the correct correlation with what is actually Gaia telling me. What is the main lesson here for me to get as a soul, for me to progress and level up in frequency? That is what these things are. Whenever you feel a sensation of feeling, even if it's painful or emotional, all of that is processing, and you're moving through and deeper into the body, and you're releasing these feelings that are not going to be part of your life anymore. A lot of these things, when we change our perceptions, these things just become automatic. They just get released eventually. But we need to have the right perception. Otherwise, what will happen is that we recreate things because we haven't learned. That's how beings get stuck in these, some people call it karmic loops, we call it energy loops, cycles of suffering. You know, there are many names for this, but it's all the same. It's just whenever you are in some kind of reality that is not the energetic truth reality, it's some kind of distorted view or perception of what reality, what you think reality is in that moment. So start to disengage, first of all, there is a very simple recipe. You have to just first recognize what's going on. And sometimes we have things like, what you know, that's clear. But you have certain things that you know that you don't know, right? But then you have these things that you don't know what you don't know. And there's a lot of that in that area, which is more the unconscious, that you can start to develop when you start to look at what these signals mean. That's, you start to become aware of the things that you didn't know. And that is how you do that. Another way is to get someone that is really authentic with you and honest and can actually see these things. That is what the program that we're offering assists with, so that people can come and share what they see, and then we can guide people to correct their energy. But you can ask a friend. That is an option. If you trust that friend to be authentic with you and honest with you, if you trust that relationship enough. I've been through some stuff when it comes to that, this body, when it comes to trust. And I've seen that many beings that I thought I trusted and considered my friends were not really. Energetically, they were very manipulative and not anything near what I consider an actual friend to be now. So But that is, we are all on this journey to learn more, right? To learn what reality is. And I'm so grateful, both this body, Kenneth, everything, we're so grateful to have had this experience where we have been where we opened our eyes to the truth. I had to go through this body. I had to go through so many things of seeing aspects of me that was narcissistic, that was self-centered, that was even misogynistic, and just all of these different aspects and energies, and like, wow, I can see that, yeah, I can see that. And so it's so important to just acknowledge like what we have been playing, like what role have we been playing here? You know, that is the first step to truly change something, is to acknowledge that, yeah, wow, I did that. That's how I contributed. And regardless of what the story seems to be, that person did this, and, you know, it could be you're right. But where did you contribute? What could you have done differently sooner to correct course? And so that you don't do that again, so that you have learned. That's how we evolve as beings. We actually literally learn from our mistakes, and we can see it. That takes sight and comprehension of the energetic truth, right? It's not just a defense. It's not just oh, someone did this to me, I'm going to do this to them, or I'm going to retract. No, that's the dualistic perspective. It's being centered and balanced, but then being able to see patterns that if this continues, this goes downhill, right? That is what it is, spotting these things so that we can actually be loving to one another, what love is meant to be, which is to tell each other the truth. Many couples say that they love each other. Many families say that they love each other. But they have all these skeletons hidden in the closet. They don't even speak properly to one another from what's actually going on. This doesn't mean just lovey-dovey stuff. This doesn't mean just sharing your feelings. No, it's telling the truth of what's actually going on. And that takes courage, because there might be a bucking of forces. Love, true love, is not always peaceful. Change. It takes honesty, courage to do what's right. And that is the most loving. To do what's energetically correct, that is the most loving, because that is the most loving for everyone involved. And that's where we have to get to. So that we truly start to protect the light in each one of us. So that's what we're protecting. That's what love is. That we're making sure that people don't make stupid mistakes and dive in frequency. And if people are obviously don't preach, this is not about preaching and go and shoving information down people's throats if it's uninvited. No, of course not. It has to be invited. It has to be that people want to receive the information. Otherwise, it's just control again. Because of a story. Who knows if that story is right or not? But we can tell the truth about the energy. What is the energy doing? Is this pushy or is this balanced? Or is it too much hiding. There is a balance of how to be in any situation, really. And that is something that is called equanimity, which is basically where you don't push, you don't convince, you don't force, no force outward towards anyone or anything or any thought, nothing. And also not, so that's force. And then not recoiling either, right? With any force, like no defense or, oh, I don't want this, or just completely in the middle, where you observe everything, you feel everything, and then you respond. There is that middle point. And watch for anything that is other than that. That's really what we want to, not identify to focus on it to make it bigger, but identify it, see what happened so that we can inject the right correction so that it doesn't happen again. You see, there's a difference. We see many beings in the spiritual field that are focused on their manifestations, and they are so focused that they don't want to look at reality even. It's important to manifest, to know where you're heading, but it's also important to see reality. Otherwise, you don't know what you're really changing. You don't know the truth. And so it's trickier to move ahead if you don't know energetic truth about where you're at. Because if you don't know properly where you're at, you don't really know if you got to where you think you should be going. Right? So I hope that you see a little bit more about how you can work within your electromagnetic field. So this is a different way of working. We're working on the quantum field. So that is what this is. We're working quantum. That is what we can do, all of us, when we're working with the creative mind, the imagination. All of that stuff is in the quantum field. So we are literally creating and altering things. Same with thoughts, right? That was the main message for today. We are so happy that you are this far and that you have stuck with us this far. We are excited to see how you comprehend this information and how we can further assist you along your way. So every thought and question that you have goes up to the ether, and we will receive them and we will comment as most natural as it comes. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Ciao.